What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's number one couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And if you clicked on this video, by God, do not turn it off. I'm probably one of the few people on the internet that predicted this assassination attempt. I knew Donald Trump's life was in danger as soon as that debate was over. Can I prove it? You damn skippy, I can. I made a video 2 weeks ago about the presidential debate. And in that video, I made an assertion that Donald Trump's life was in danger. Let's take a look at this clip right quick. It's only about 5-6 seconds, but let's take a look. Let me go back. Let me go back to about 57 seconds. About 1 minute. The Democrats have to be in complete panic mode. Behind the scenes. And let me see. You see, that say 2 weeks ago. Just in case she's a little bit bigger. June 29th, 2024. Let me turn it a little bit so you can see. June 29th, 2024. As you can see right there. I made this video. But let me go back. I don't think none of us can imagine how desperate the Democrats are right now. But for Donald Trump, the only thing he has to worry about right now is his life. It has to be in danger because that's the only way out for the Democrats. Let's hear it one more time. For Donald Trump, one more time. The only thing he has to worry about right now is his life. It has to be in danger because that's the only way out for the Democrats. They have nothing. Negro Diamond strikes again. I make so many great assertions on this video, on these videos, because I'm using common sense. And somebody who's always liked politics and history and whether it be geopolitics or local politics, I've always enjoyed the theatrics of it because all of them are just paid actors. None of them are really who they showing themselves to be on TV. But I knew last week Donald Trump's life was in danger. And we're going to go over several clips today. But before I go over those clips, there are basically 3 assertions out here about what happened. Some people saying this was staged. Some people saying this was orchestrated by the Democrats. Some people are saying this is just a lone wolf gunman. And let me tell you this, in each assertion, if this was staged by Donald Trump, does it make sense? Yes, it makes sense as far as the aspect of his life was already in danger. He knows that. The only way you can boost up security even more and protect yourself even more, even after becoming president, is to stage an event like this. Do I think this was a staged event? No, but I always leave room in my videos that I could be wrong. I don't speak in absolutes. But if he did, it would be a smart move to get out ahead of it because his life is truly in danger. It really is. In this way, he's damn near untouchable now. Now you'll never get to him. Let's go to assertion 2, that this was orchestrated by the Democrats, that they used what you would call a lone wolf gunman who's really a MK Ultra asset. And I've done videos on MK Ultra mind control. No, it's not a conspiracy. It's not a joke. They actually had a congressional hearing on it. I did videos on it, reading the whole. I did a video and I just read transcripts from the congressional hearing. So yes, they really know how to control people's minds, and they do it with a lot of young men. And that's why you see the same guns being used, and they do the same exact thing, and they always get killed every time. So do I think the Democrats use what they would call, what I would call a human robot or android in the flesh? Yes, I think that's highly feasible. And in these videos and these clips we're going to go over, I'm also going to make the assertion of who I think is behind this. Because there's some things that's being said out there that got my Negro spidey senses tingling like a motherfucker. But let's go to the third and final assertion, which is a lone wolf gunman. Could there be a lone wolf gunman who just woke up one day out of the blue, is what they telling us, and just decided to shoot at the president? Yes, that's possible. Is it feasible, practical? And the chances of that are very low. So that's the least likely one. So we got 1, Stage 2, orchestrated. 3, lone wolf government. Let's take a look at these clips.
Continue here with the news tonight. There are fast-moving developments after the assassination attempt tonight. Remarkable new images here. The alleged gunman seen climbing to the roof just minutes before opening fire at that rally. You can actually hear people in the crowd yelling to an officer, pointing him out. And now we learned that law enforcement was actually using that building as a staging area, and how the gunman climbed onto the roof, the wall outside that building.
And let me say this. Should Donald Trump be concerned if this was orchestrated? Yes, because that means that somebody within certain people within the Secret Service would have to be in on it. They would have to be in on it because the lapse in the execution of the plan of protecting the presidents was terrible. How in the hell? It was only one building across the street. This was out in the middle of a country, like a rural area. It wasn't that. It's not like you was in a downtown area with 25 high rises and all these different floors like we see in the assassin movies or the movies where somebody is a president or some official is shot. No, this was a rural area where one building you had to protect. So there was a huge discrepancy in what happened and who's in charge of covering particular buildings. It was only one building to aim at. That's why they were able to kill him so fast. But it makes me think that somebody within the Secret Service was in on this. They almost, in my mind, would have to be.
Here, Thomas, tonight with the exclusive interview with the head of the Secret Service and what she's saying now.
Stunning new video tonight showing the moment Donald Trump's would-be assassin climbed onto the roof of that building just 2 minutes before he opened fire.
Yeah, look, there he is.
You hear bystanders desperately trying to alert police.
And you would think that if they're alerting police that it would be easy and quick to get that to the Secret Service and get the president out of there. But there was like 96 seconds in between this, when they were telling him this, and the shots that rang out. So something's rotten in Denmark.
Is now using that video as part of the investigation. And tonight, ABC News has learned that heavily armed local police were stationed inside that building and missed Thomas Crooks climbing up the outside of the building to the roof.
Now, local police, there's a bunch of Barney Fifes, goof troops, and idiots in these rural police areas, and even in the inner city, who's completely out of shape, who doesn't have no business being officers and protecting and serving. But for the Secret Service, that's a totally different ballgame. Yes, there's a fitness standard. There's a lot of different standards within the Secret Service. Local police, I can see how they can goof some shit up. But even at that, how in the hell did they not relay that to the Secret Service? It seems damn near impossible.
Same building was being used as a staging area for local police, according to 2 law enforcement officials. And Butler Township officials confirming ABC News' reporting that a local police officer climbed up the roof and confronted Brooks moments before the shooting.
The officer pulled into the building, pulled himself up to be able to look, and according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building.
Investigators tonight.
What I tell you. See, they're not going to tell you all the story, but the devil is in the detail. He said he popped up. The rifleman or the young man pointed the rifle at him. He slipped, ducked, and fell. 9 times out of 10, he was out of shape. That's why I always talk about police officers and there's no fitness standard. Some of these goof troops out here in these areas, even in big cities, some of these fat ass officers, they don't have no business being officers. And why in the hell wasn't he yelling and screaming, there's a shooter on the roof, there's a shooter on the roof, on the radio, the Secret Service? Where was the panic? Let's listen to him again, what he said.
And confronted Brooks moments before the shooting.
The officer grabbed hold of the edge of the building, pulled himself up to be able to look, and according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building.
Investigators tonight trying to determine whether roof access had been properly locked down. The shooter climbing seemingly unimpeded, about 400 feet from the stage, with a direct line of sight on the former president.
Take a look at what happened.
Washington lawmakers demanding answers. calling on the Secret Service Director to appear before Congress. We sat down with Director Kim Cheadle today for an exclusive interview.
What was your reaction when you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock, and then concern, obviously.
Listen to me, either she is the person who let this happen or the person who's right under her let this happen. There's no doubt about that, because the shit that was supposed to happen is like, that's like basic one-on-one. Like, that's like the most fundamental shit is cover the highest building across the street.
For the former president, this is an event that should have never happened.
Who is most responsible for this happening?
What I would say is that the Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the former president.
So the buck stops with you?
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again.
The President and Homeland Security Secretary said today they had 100% confidence in you, but there are some members of Congress calling on you to resign.
I appreciate the Secretary's comments, and we're going to continue to be transparent and communicate with people.
Do you plan to stay on? Absolutely.
I do plan to stay on.
Director Cheadle says she will not wait on an independent review of the security failure. She says she plans to make immediate changes. We learned today she's already expanded the tactical or SWAT support for former President Trump. David?
Pierre Thomas here in Milwaukee with us. Pierre, thank you.
And some people might ask, well, why wouldn't they use, if this was an orchestrated event, why wouldn't they use a real military person, like somebody who's an expert shooter? One, that would be a dead giveaway. You don't want to use somebody that's too obvious. You want somebody who can take the shot. Because let me say this, and this is another thing that make me think it's orchestrated by somebody within the deep state or government, Secret Service, the Democrats, all in cahoots together maybe. The reason would make me think that they used the AR-15, which is always used in this. The young man could, if they said his father had plenty of rifles, he could have easily had a bolt action rifle, and the chance of him missing would have been very low. It's a little bit higher. 130-yard shot with an AR-15 is not a very tough shot, by the way. It's not. But when you add wind, the trajectory of the bullet, you see he actually hit Trump. So it wasn't a tough shot. It was the angle. So he was at a bad angle and it clipped him. Once he clipped him, now everybody's moving. So now you're trying to hit a moving target, which becomes very, very difficult. And like I said, that was the only high building. So the Secret Service snipers killed him damn near immediately. Like, I think he got about maybe 4 or 5 shots off. But after that, he was a dead man. I think they took 1 or 2 shots and blew his head off probably. We would love for him to be alive so we can ask him tougher questions. But let's take a look at this next clip. Former classmate of Trump rally gunman says he was bullied. Once again, NBC News. This right here makes me think somebody's in cahoots. Why are we talking about him being bullied? It's a bunch of people bullied. Being bullied has nothing to do with you taking a shot at the president on a nice, beautiful day in Pennsylvania. That has nothing to do with nothing. Once again, something's wrong in Denmark. And I'm telling y'all, I'm going to tell you who I think helped this young man plan this. Take a look at this clip.
We've been here. There's a large media presence here. You've had members of the community come and approach us, including one person who said he actually went to high school with this suspected shooter. I want you to listen to a little bit of our conversation there.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're going to see someone like that, and they're going to target him because they think it's funny or whatever, so it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
You said he was
Yeah. I want to...
What does being bullied at school have to do? If you was bullied at school, the first thing that kids who they say are bullied at school, what's the first place they go shoot up? Thank you. I know what you said. The school. This is outrageous. I mean, this how you know this is a joke. What does he mean? That might have had something. I don't know. It could have had somebody to put him up to this too. There's no way. Because it makes no sense. Because in NBC even putting this out, they get to edit this shit. They get to choose the clips. So him saying that, they wanted that message out there. This was a bully kid, a lone wolf who was just sick of being picked on. So he took a shot at the former president of the United States of America.
Say he was a loner.
Get the fuck out of here.
He was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much. So much.
Listen to it. So much.
High school.
Yeah.
He knew it was so much.
Do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess.
He said he was bullied so much, so much. They asked him, well, what they was bullying, what kind of bullying was they doing? I don't know. What the what? That's the simplest question. What kind of bullying? I was making fun of the way he looked, the way he talked. They made fun of him because he couldn't get no girls and whoop de whoop. He yelled out he was bullied so much, so much, so much. What he bullied for? I don't know. See, this type of shit right here, you have to be able to read into the lines. That's why I'm YouTube's #1 couch detective. Hear him again. Hear this shit again.
This is high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
I want to hear, wait a minute, let me hear what he said. He bullied so much, so much.
No.
You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much. So much.
This is high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
Nah.
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
He ain't got no answer to that. I don't
That's
know.
what he's
If
saying.
he was bullied that much, you could break it down in detail.
Behind the suspected shooter here, and we have some movement here where you hear ambulance or a car horn. Excuse that background noise. But one thing that we also heard from that conversation is that when we asked what he was bullied for, what this shooter was bullied for, he pointed to his clothing. Apparently, according to this person who says he was a classmate, the shooter would wear military style clothes or hunting clothes regularly as he was at school. So we're still learning a lot more. We tell you, investigators continue to go.
Let me say this. In rural America, a white boy wearing military, like fatigue, like hunting gear or some shits and boots, they not overly making fun of you because a lot of these kids go up around guns and hunting and fishing. This ain't New York City. This is a rural area of Pennsylvania. What is he talking about? I'm not buying none of that.
Go in and out of the scene here. We know multiple.
And he is a ugly little boy too. That's a real pig boy. He looked like Jason Voorhees before he drowned in Camp Crystal Lake. Oh my God, yeah. So was he made fun of? Maybe, but everybody's made fun of at school. Everybody get talked about. That don't mean you take a shot at the president. And don't you find this odd that a white boy would take a shot at another white man who's president, but nobody took a shot at Obama? Think about that. Ponder on that. Let that sizzle in your spirit.
Agencies are here, not just local police, but the county bomb squad. As I mentioned last night, I saw the ATF here. It's a calm scene. It's not completely evacuated. Many residents are still in their homes behind here, but you can tell this is definitely a focal point of this investigation as we learn more about this suspected shooter who, again, from what we know and from public records, does not have a criminal history, not a large social media presence. So there's a lot more information that folks are looking to learn, Tom.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about.
You hear that? There's nothing that's on social media that make you think that he did any of these type of things. So let's take a look at this next clip. We're gonna look at a couple more clips. Let's run through these.
I now want to turn to Tom Winter, who has the very latest of the investigation. Tom, what can you tell us? I know you've got some new information that you've been working on.
That's right, Kristen. It's a 180 from the environment that you're experiencing and the environment that law enforcement is conducting itself right now. We're told that the FBI has been able to access the cell phone of Thomas Crooks. He's the individual that they say shot at President Trump just 2 days ago. And in part of accessing that, they've been examining the contents of the phone. And so far, and this is preliminary, so the investigation's still in its early stages, but so far they've found nothing on that phone that points to a motive, And I think one of the things that folks are having a hard time understanding, and it's understandable, is what is this idea with motive? He fired a gun at the former president of the United States and now Republican nominee. What is there to guess at? This has to be politically motivated, and I think it's important to remind people that over the years, a number of assassination attempts, including the most recent assassination attempt on a president or former president, Ronald Reagan, the shooter there had an effort to try to impress a Hollywood actress, and that was what he said his motive was for doing it. So the FBI certainly wants to get to the bottom of that. They want to try to rule out with absolute certainty that anybody else could have been involved in this. Right now they don't believe so, but it's still...
Was somebody else involved in this? 100% allegedly. There's no doubt about that in my mind. They saying they scrubbed this, they not scrubbed, but they didn't went through it. They didn't went through everything. All the social media. They didn't went through a cell phone. They can't find nothing. And in a second, I'm gonna tell you who I think then helped him. If this, let's take what they saying is true. And I'm just gonna play devil's advocate and say that they really have looked through all this stuff and they found nothing to make you think that he wanted to take a shot at the president. That means that he woke up randomly and just took a shot. No. No way.
In the early investigative stages. A couple other updates from my colleagues Jonathan Deanston, Andrew Blankstein, and myself. Apparently, the shooter was able to purchase or had delivered to him a significant amount of ammunition on the day of the shooting and leading up to the shooting. That's what law enforcement's trying to determine. When did the ammunition come in? When was it around? The multiple law enforcement officials also telling us that approximately a dozen guns were found in the home, and they're also looking into whether or not the father of the shooter, upon hearing about the shooting involving Trump, noticed that one of his guns was missing and noticed that his son was missing and may have contacted law enforcement. So
now remember that they say that the father noticed that one of the guns was missing and that he maybe, see how vague they are, might have contacted law enforcement. What the fuck you mean might have? Either he did or he didn't. Listen to him again. See these words, white people are real tricky with words. You gotta watch them.
Upon hearing about the shooting...
When I say white people, I just mean people in the media. I don't mean every average white person. I mean these people in the media, especially these white people in the media, are very tricky with words.
Involving Trump, noticed that one of his guns was missing and noticed that his son was missing and may have contacted law enforcement. So those are a couple of new investigative avenues or new developments just over the last hour or so. And again, reporting with myself, my colleagues Jonathan Deans and Andrew Blankstein, and we're going to continue to track this throughout the day. The investigation, the FBI out with a statement late today confirming they were able to access the phone and that they've completed their searches of both his car at the scene of the shooting as well as his home, Kristen.
Thanks, sir. And they said in one of his cars they did find bomb material. We got two more clips we're going to be going through. And let's take a look at this clip because they keep saying that the father. So it makes you think, what the hell's going on at home? Let's take a look at this clip because they said the father noticed his son was missing and that one of the guns was missing and maybe kind of sort of that he could have called the police. I mean, some of this shit should be plain. Either the father called the police or he didn't call the police. Take a look at this clip.
This morning, a new FBI and Homeland Security bulletin sent to law enforcement nationwide reveals on the day of the Trump rally, Thomas Matthew Crooks purchased 50 rounds of ammunition from a gun shop in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Also that 2 improvised explosive devices were found in his car and home. Sources say on the day of the rally, Crooks, a member at a local gun club.
So at his home, they found bomb material. So a 19-year-old kid is making bombs and got rifles and everything. Something ain't right.
Pennsylvania. Also that 2 improvised explosive devices were found in his car and home. Sources say on the day of the rally, Crooks, a member at a local gun club, told his father he was going to the shooting range, and that's when his father gave him the rifle used in the attack. FBI.
There it is. The man just told us on the other clip that his father made a notice the gun was missing, and the father made a notice his son was missing, and the father maybe called the police. Now they saying that the father said that his son said he was going shooting and he had a few bullets. He was part of a rifle club, and then all of us. Now it seems like somebody's getting a lie together. Seems like a lie, real lies coming together. and that his father gave him the gun. Now the father gave him the gun. So now you have to start asking about the parents.
Investigators.
Let me see.
Crooks, a member at a local gun club, told his father he was going to the shooting range, and that's when his father gave him the rifle used in the attack. FBI investigators say they've conducted hundreds of interviews and scoured his social media and phone, but a motive remains unclear. The Secret Service director sitting down with our...
Let me tell you this. When they said a motive is unclear, that means you have to put everything into the parents now. There's no doubt. There are a lot of parents who are MK Ultra handlers. They put their kids through these different programmings. There's no that shit has been happening for a very long time. It happens in Hollywood all the time. It's people who give their kids to Hollywood. Aaliyah's parents was MK handlers. They gave their child to R. Kelly. That's a fact. We all know that R. Kelly was married. I think she was like 14 or 15 when he married her. The parents gave her to him. Michael Jackson was given to the people in Hollywood. It's so many young kids who said they were abused in Hollywood because their parents allowed it. You had kids who was allowed to go spend the night at people's house. This father and this mother, who are they? What do they do for a living? Are they ex-military? Or are they ex-people in the government? Are they currently in the government? How in the fuck did his father just give him a rifle on the day that the president is there? He has no idea what's going on. His son is making bombs, ordering bullets and all type of wacky shit. And the lie is that, well, he's part of a gun club and I just thought he was going shooting. And nobody knows nothing. And he just randomly, all of a sudden, he was headed to the gun club. He stopped. He said, there go President. I think that's President Trump over there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to park this car and climb on this roof and take a shot at the former President of the United States of America. Randomly. If you believe that, you're a fool. Take a look at this next clip. Investigators access phone, laptop with Thomas Crooks. What a last name. Motive still unknown. Take a look at this. Last clip.
In the backdrop, Ryan, this attempted assassination of a former president.
That's right, Dee. Investigators have now accessed the phone and laptop of that shooter, Thomas Crooks, who you see behind me right here. After reviewing his search history and interviewing family and friends, still tonight, no clear motive, according to those federal authorities. Crooks' parents now cooperating with the investigators, we are told. They say their son...
And on this picture, his t-shirt, he got a American flag on his t-shirt. So somebody's patriotic. Something ain't right.
Didn't show any obvious political leanings. The Pentagon also saying he was not affiliated with any branch of the military. New reports just out today now say there were 3 snipers stationed inside of that building, that the shooter was on top of. That, according to
See, that's what makes me so suspicious that maybe someone within the Secret Service, someone within the Secret Service is in on this. Because look at it. Look at the scene where Trump was speaking. Where's my controller at? Look, this is where Trump was speaking at right here. This is where the gunman was at. This is the highest building in the area. This is where law enforcement snipers was at. Don't you think you would have law enforcement snipers on the highest building and on this building? Why would you only have them on this building? Who made that call? Who made the call for snipers to only be on this little chicken shit-ass farm building and not the highest buildings? These 2 highest buildings over here. Look, when they go through, before the president even speaks, and they look at this whole, they look at this whole area. And they look, well, where could the shooters be at? Like, what places could you make a shot? You maybe this little building down here, building up here, tower up there. You're looking at certain areas. You say, what's the easiest shot? Here and here. So you put the snipers here, but no snipers up here on the roof. He was able to climb on the roof with a gun, be up there for minutes, and take a shot at the former president of the United States. Something's rotten, y'all. Something is rotten. And you can tell me in the comments, what's your assertion? Which out of the 3 things that people are saying that happened? what? Is this whole thing orchestrated? Is this whole thing, is he a lone gunman? I mean, what do you think? I don't know. I'm looking at this. This the best shot. You can't get a better shot than this. This the best shot, and you telling me nobody's over here. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, y'all.
CBS News. As for the two men critically injured, James Copenhaver and David Dutch, they are recovering tonight. A Trump-sponsored GoFundMe page, you see it here, has now raised more than $4 million for those victims, including retired Fire Chief Corey Compenatori, who was killed. The director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, says she has no plans to resign tonight, even with growing calls for her to do so. Now, earlier today, Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert of Colorado introducing a bill to actually prohibit federal funding being used to pay for her salary.
I have 100% confidence in the United States Secret Service, and what you saw on stage on Saturday with respect to individuals putting their own lives at risk for the protection of another is exactly what the American public should see every single day.
Let's take a live look out here over Capitol Hill tonight, where the House Oversight Committee now asking the Secret Service for specific documents that include text messages, emails, and any pre-site surveys from that location.
There it is, pre-site surveys. That's what I was saying. Like, they do, that's like one-on-one. And this wasn't even a complex area. Like, if you ask me as a person who love watching the military channel, and I love guns myself, like, hey, man, if the president was here, which buildings would you watch? Bruh. That would have been the number one building now to put snipers on. You put the snipers on a building that an assassin can take the best shot from, to take that away. That's like 101. That's crazy. That's basic, bare fundamentals. How did they let that happen? That's so bad.
All identifying security concerns about the rally site.
And let me say this, as this video concludes. There's no doubt in my mind, if what they are saying is true, that they looked at his social media, his search history, they looked at everything, and they really didn't find anything, it's his mom and daddy. And have you noticed, they don't have pictures of the mama and daddy. Where's the mama and daddy at? If this was a Negro or Mexican or anything, they'd have had pictures of the mama, the daddy, the brother, the sister. Everybody would have been on the goddamn team. Where's the picture of his daddy? The daddy, literally, they said the daddy gave him the rifle to shoot at a president. Just that alone should have your ass in custody answering questions under some kind of interrogation. How? To me, if you ask in my personal opinion, I think that daddy and mama is MK Ultra handlers. There's no way somebody's going to randomly just get up and start shooting at the president. There's just no fucking way. And not only that, when I say they're handlers, that means they working for somebody else. That's why you can find nothing on the search history. Taking that's true, that they didn't find anything. Now, they might have found all type of shit and not telling us. I always leave that out there. But let's say, for instance, that they didn't. And there's nothing on search, nothing on the phone, nothing on social media, nothing's nowhere. Then that means that those parents are MK Ultra handlers and they're working for somebody within the deep state or the government or the Democrats or all of the above. There's no doubt in my mind. They let the pig boy / AKA Jason Voorhees popping up out of Crystal Lake and grabbing somebody out of the boat take a shot at the president. That's unbelievable. But I've been dying to make this video because I'm one of the only people on the internet that predicted Donald Trump, that there was a true threat on his life. But I most definitely want to go over this video. I've been dying to do it, and I'm glad you guys tuned in. This has been Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. I'm here for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took you on a pig, boy. Just took a shot at the president ride. Peace.